social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Hello and welcome to The Reporter, a news and current affairs program that goes beyond the headlines, bringing reporters from the field to give first-hand accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, correspondent perspectives, ensuring balanced, credible, and comprehensive storytelling. I am Anieti Patrick. It's good to have you join us on this edition of The Reporter. Let's start on security matters following the issues around security in the country. A tightening security dragnet is unfolding across the Federal Capital Territory as FCT Police Command has launched an aggressive operation in Buari and surrounding border communities, targeting kidnapping syndicates and criminal hideouts. Our security correspondent, Kike Lomo-Okere, has the details.
It was a high-level operational sweep led by the Commissioner of Police, FCT Command, Mohammed Sanusi, and the officers moved through strategic location in Buari Area Council in a coordinated push to dismantle criminal networks operating along border communities. The operation began at the palace of Saki Buari, where traditional leaders were engaged and their support sought for ongoing security offensive. From there, the team proceed to the palace of Isua Buaya, securing access for intensified forest patrols area believed to harbor kidnappers and armed groups. At Zuma, the commissioner assessed troops deployment, reinforcing a strong security presence in key flashpoints. The operation took a decisive turn at Gidan Dogo. 3 suspected kidnappers were arrested in connection with the abduction of 21 persons in Paze community, Biazin Axis. CP Sanusi says the arrest followed a coordinated intelligence-led operation that also led to the rescue of the victims.
City and the Niger and Kaduna State. This is a place that has been infested by bandits and some banditry activities. God being on our side, we've been able to tame them to a very large extent.
One of the victims described the ordeal as traumatic, expressing relief and gratitude for his rescue.
We made deployments and started operations since yesterday, and as God will have it, we have achieved some successes, some victories, by arresting some of the bandits and their informants.
While addressing the journalists, the Commissioner of Police confirmed strategic deployment across Buari, noting that personnel have been positioned to respond swiftly and prevent further attacks. The tour extended through Garam in Niger State, with on-the-spot security assessment before concluding at the Nigerian Law School, Buari. The FCT Police Command says the operation is part of a wider strategy to disrupt criminal networks, strengthen interagency coordinations, and restore confidence in border communities. Kike Lomo-Okere, Global Television News.
And joining me right now is Kike Lomo-Okere, where she'll bring us details on what that looks like, because for me, I see that as a very necessary step to tackling this issue. Hello, Kike. It's good to have you join me on The Reporter today. How have you been?
I'm good, Anieti. How are you?
The issue of insecurity, which is a major concern in Nigeria, especially the FCT, which is the Federal Capital Territory, of course. With the FCT police intensifying operations in Buari, is this the turning point in the fight against kidnapping in border communities? Because they seem to be the most affected in every case that plays out.
Honestly, Anita, this could be a significant turning point, but only if the strategy is sustained and it's not a temporary one. What we are seeing here is the FCT intensifying operation in Buhari, and they are sending a strong signal that the law enforcement is beginning to take the security of border communities more seriously. And it matters because what matters is because, like Buhari, have long been a vulnerable area, a vulnerable community to their proximity to forest and the porous borders that criminal exploit. But the thing is, operation alone won't end kidnapping. The real question is, will this momentum be maintained? As in, will there be better intelligence gathering and stronger collaboration with local community? If this crackdown becomes part of the a broader long-term security framework, then yes, it could mark the beginning of a shift, of a real shift, if it fades after few weeks.
The fact that you asked sustainability, because of course one thing is to take action and that thing is to ensure that it is sustained in the long term. But let's talk about the arrests.
Exactly.
Beyond the arrests and rescues, what more should authorities, that's the police himself or the other security outfits and local communities, do to restore lasting safety and public confidence? Because the public need to trust the system in terms of security measures put in place.
Like I said, there is need to intensify operations in those community by sustaining this impact depends on whether the effort goes beyond boots on the ground. If it remain purely reactive raid after raid, it risk becoming a cycle when criminals simply adjust and wait till when everywhere is calm and they will strike again. Another critical layer is prosecution. When arrests don't lead to conviction, deterrence weakens, and without coordination between the agencies, including the Nigerian police force and other security actors, there will be gap, and the gap will be exploited by all these criminal elements. So the real measure of sustainability isn't just how intense the clamp down is today. It is whether it evolves into a structured, continuous security system that outlive any single operation.
Hey, thank you so much, Kikelamo, for your time. We hope that this goes beyond just a first time action and it is sustained just like you have proposed. Thank you for your time, Kike, and we look forward to my engagement. Well, let's turn our focus to stay with security issues. The New Direction for Nigeria movement, NEPMO, has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to expedite the arrest and prosecution of individuals sponsoring terrorism and banditry. The convener of the movement, Mark Adebayo, made the call at a press conference in Abuja while reacting to the killing of soldiers in a recent attack in Borno State. Our correspondent Ramsey Enokabo has the details.
Addressing journalists in Abuja, the convener of the movement, Mark Adebayo, described the death of Brigadier Commander Brigadier General Hussein Ibrahimo and other troops as painful loss, and extended condolences to the Nigerian Armed Forces. The NEDMO convener praised the courage and sacrifice of the military, noting their resilience despite the challenges of asymmetric warfare. He stressed that bringing terror sponsors to justice will strengthen efforts to curb insecurity.
Direction for Nigeria Movement, NEDMO, wishes to commiserate with the Nigerian Armed Forces on the loss of some of our heroic soldiers in the Banishik, Borno State, yesterday, April 9, 2026, including the Brigade Commander, Brigadier General Hussein Ibrahima. Owe it a duty to your oath of office and as the one on whose table the buck stops, to get these enemies of our country exposed, arrested, prosecuted, and punished to the full extent of the law.
Adebayo also urged Nigerians to support the armed forces in confronting threats to national peace and stability. Ramsey Enoch Agbo, Global TV News.
Well, joining us to speak on this issue is our correspondent Ramsey Agbo to give us more details on what went down there. Hello, Ramsey. It's good to have you join us on The Reporter. Have you been?
Yes, I've been fine. Thank you very much, Aniete.
Talk about the issue of terrorism, banditry, which is one major contention or cause of concern for Nigeria. Should the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration intensify efforts to expose and prosecute alleged sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria? Because this is one clamor Nigerians have been speaking about in the long term.
Yes, of course. Aniete, we must tell ourselves the truth in Nigeria. We need to get the root cause of this terrorism in Nigeria. How do you get to the root cause of terrorism in Nigeria if you don't get rid of the sponsors? Provided the sponsors are there, we can't ascertain that this terrorism is going to become a thing of the end anytime soon. But if we begin to maybe prosecute or arrest or bring to justice the people who are behind this terrorism, then we can say, all right, we are on the right trajectory. You can see how our soldiers are being wasted right there at the northeast and, of course, north central. Everywhere people are dying, even right in FCT. We heard of what happened in some locations in FCT too. So it's very necessary, all right, for the federal government, this Tinubu-led administration, to rise up to the occasion. And of course, let's begin to have people brought to book as it has to do with this insecurity in this country. If we can arrest the sponsors, then the people perpetrating the act will be nowhere to be found anymore if there are no people to sponsor them.
So, Ramsey, I see that you've called for this significant reduction through finding the financiers to be brought to justice, basically. With the likes of attacks in Beneshek, Borno State, beyond the government action, what role should citizens play in supporting the military to tackle this insecurity and banditry? Because we always call on the security operatives to do this thing, but what role should the citizens themselves play in also ensuring this has a way of stopping that in the long run, basically?
Yes, of course. Before I go to talk about the role of the citizen, I want to register my condolence to the family of the late general who lost his life in front of the terrorists fighting for Nigeria. Brimo, I think since this this fight started, especially from 2021 until now, this is the highest ranking officer who have lost his life, if I can remember. Then, what role do you think the Nigerian public, the communities, the individuals, the farmers themselves need to play to assist the soldiers, the army in the front of this terrorism? Now, this is what it is. One of the key thing that these officers need is intelligence information. Intelligent information is very key. In every of this community, you know someone that knows someone that is part of these people. When these people are coming, probably the soldiers may not even understand the language, but you do. What you need to do, communicate with these people. And of course, the federal government should also have spies in this community who understand the languages of these people for intelligence information gathering. It's going to go a long way. So as Nigerians, we are all one. If you know any of these people, if you get any vital information about them, information sharing will go a long way. And that's the responsibility of the Nigerian people, the people in the community. So we can support these soldiers in fighting this terrorism. You might not have the guns and everything, but you have the intelligent information that would assist these soldiers in combating this terrorism.
Amazing one there, Ramsey Enoch. Thank you so much for the update, and we look forward to how these measures you've just mentioned will be put in place from the citizens' perspective and also the military to see that gradually this phases out for Nigeria as a country. Thank you so much for your time, Ramsey Enoch.
You're
well,
welcome.
let's turn our focus basically to some political matters in regards to party affairs. Civil society organizations in defense of democracy and rule of law in Nigeria have staged a peaceful walk in support of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), praising its adherence to constitutional governance. Uyi Agumofegbe has the rest of the story.
Speaking on behalf of the coalition, spokesperson Comrade Mike Femi commended the Commission's commitment to the rule of law, urging political actors to conduct their affairs within the ambit of the Constitution. The coalition also addressed the leadership disputes within the African Democratic Congress (ADC), insisting that only constitutionally recognized structures should be upheld, while rejecting the David Mark-led faction as unconstitutional. Comrade Femi called on all parties involved in the disputes to respect judicial pronouncements and follow due process in resolving internal party issues.
We affirm our support for the rule of law as the cornerstone of our democracy. Number 2, call on all political actors to respect the judiciary, pronouncements, and constitutional provisions.
Responding on behalf of the INEC chairman, National Commissioner Abdullahi Abduzuru assured Nigerians of the Commission's readiness to conduct free, fair, transparent, and credible polls in the 2027 general elections. He noted that INEC would continue to operate strictly in line with the rule of law and democratic principles.
On behalf of the chairman of INEC, so thank you for this very calm approach, and to assure you and assure Nigerians that the Commission will always do what is right for our democracy.
The coalition reaffirmed its confidence in the electoral body, urging citizens and political stakeholders to remain peaceful and law-abiding as the country prepares for the next general elections. Uyi Agumofegbe reporting for Global TV News.
Well, joining me live in the studio this time around is Uyi Agumofegbe to bring us up to speed. A whole lot is pulling up strings from all sides for the 2027 general election. But Uyi, how have you been for us before I get into the political discussion?
Well, I'm minding my business.
All right, let's talk about the parties and the drama. But this time around, civil society seem to be backing INEC ahead of the 2027 general election and standing with INEC. But can Nigerians truly trust the Commission to deliver free, fair, and credible elections owing to all of these banters with parties in the forthcoming election?
Okay, here's the thing. Well, as it stands right now, this development within our polity, especially as it has to do with the conflict within the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has polarized, of course, opinions. So you see divergence in positions, as it were. So for a civil society to jump in on it is a bit of curiosity, because this is a matter that has become a subject of litigation as it stands right now. So if you take your protest to INEC, in solidarity, of course, with the Commission, the question is, what is the idea behind it? What's the, as it were, rationale behind that? Because whether you like it or not, INEC has substantially made clear to members of the public as well as to the parties involved in this litigation that, look, what we are doing at this point in time is staying in full compliance with the valid order of court. This position will only change, again, on the basis of a superior court order. Until that point, or until that time, there's nothing else we can do about that. So if you're protesting, the question is, what do you want to achieve? And there's something that stands out, quite frankly, is you saying that you condemning the David Mark faction of the party. Again, let's be clear, even the Electoral Act itself, 2026, is clear on how that party issues are internal to political parties. The reason we're here now is because politicians have refused, they've refused to behave themselves, so to speak. If they had acted as full-blown adults, we won't be here in the first instance. But civil society must not be seen to be taking sides. Because as it stands today, the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, has warned lawyers across the country to say, look, any lawyer who gets involved in litigation as it has to do with political party disputes, especially filing matters and stuff like that, will be sanctioned, because we can't be seen to be erring as it has to do with the law. I mean, we are lawyers. We are supposed to be those to point people in the right direction. Therefore, we must now understand that these are internal issues. And time and again, orders coming out from court have been very specific as to saying that, look, whatever happens within political parties, it's probably their business.
Okay, because I was about to ask about the respect, the rule of law, because basically you've mentioned that, and the NBA has also made their statements very clear that it's high time Nigerians, civil society, anybody just respect the rule of law and let the judicial process take full course. But I'll still have to keep it here because I have other stories within the party system.
It'll be a long night.
Well, let's tell you that Nigeria's ruling All Progressives Congress has formally handed over the reins of leadership to its newly elected National Working Committee with a strong charge to deliver victory in the 2027 general elections. At the party's national secretariat in Abuja, members of the FCT of the APC election subcommittee presented certificates of return to the newly elected National Working Committee and other national officers, sealing the outcome of the 2026 National Convention. Again, Oyi Agumofebe tells us more.
The exercise was led by Chairman of the subcommittee, Aminu Masari, alongside Governor Mai Mala Buni and other top party figures. Among those inaugurated are the new national chairman, Professor Nentawe Yilwada, alongside key officials, including Deputy National Chairman, National Vice Chairman across the zones, and other members of the party's leadership structure. Masari urged the new leadership to uphold integrity and remain focused, warning of intense pressure ahead of party primaries.
We can also assure you, for our own end, that this party will work towards winning elections. We'll work towards winning 2027 election. Our job is to ensure that we deliver our members who are contesting, from the president to the governors, to the senators, to the House of Representatives, to also the House of Assemblies. We'll do all our best. We'll put in all our energy, all our effort to ensure that we deliver the members that will file up for election in 2027 in our party.
Responding on behalf of the new leadership, the APC national chairman pledged to strengthen internal democracy, expand membership, and ensure unity across party ranks. He also commended the convention process, describing it as one of the most peaceful in the party's history, devoid of internal disputes and litigation.
He has been given the certificate, which is not an authority for us to exercise the mandate that's been given to us by the people. And the assurance is that we will work to ensure that the manifesto of the party, which works on progressive principles, are enforced, are implemented across Nigeria for the benefit of our people.
With a renewed leadership in place, the APC now shifts focus to consolidation, mobilization, and preparations for the next electoral cycle. Uyi Agumofwegbe, Global TV News.
Well, Uyi is still here. Uyi, we've been talking about party issues, and basically this is APC saying they're set for 2027. Well, with All Progressives Congress handing over its future to a new leadership team, because that's what it looks like right now, can the party truly deliver a sweeping victory in the 2027 elections from what they have right now?
Well, the party has been very upbeat about the outcome of the 2027 elections. First of all, they say they have the internal structure, they have the mechanism, they have the spread across the country, they have boots on the ground, like we say in the military. But beyond all of that, they also say that given the number and caliber of governors, and of course other very top-ranking politicians who have moved from other parties, including and majorly the PDP into its fold, is going to just coast to victory. But then again, in recent times, until all of these, as it were, conflict within the ADC, we had seen something that looked like formidable opposition being built. But there's something the APC has done consistently well, which is not taking anything for granted, not leaving anything to chance, and ensuring there are no loose ends of any kind. The APC, from what we see, just doesn't want to win an election or win elections in 2027. They want to win very clearly. They want to win decisively. They want it to be such a large margin that it will be logically impossible for you to contest the outcome of those elections. That's where they are right now. But again, they're starting from the very basics, which is, of course, the National Convention.
Okay, so I like the fact that Aminu Masari also talked about looming challenges that will come in when the APC is fully set for the 2027 election, and he's talking about ways they can navigate through the political tension. He
calls it pressure.
And yes, of course, because we know there will be pressure in the long run. So he's already warning base to say, don't forget, don't relax, because the journey is too far ahead, and we should be prepared when challenges comes, basically. So hopefully, we wish them the best.
May the best man win.
Exactly, that's what it means. Thank you so much, Oyi, for your time. Always a pleasure to have you here. Well, that's the size of the program, The Reporter. Thank you for being a part of the program. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. To stay connected always, follow us on social media across using at Global TV NG. I am Anieti Patrick. Thank you for watching.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service. Then we put ourselves to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.